Hello guys, so in this video, now we are going to focus on deploying our end-to-end project into AWS cloud, and specifically we are going to use Elastic Beanstalk. Now, how the deployment is going to happen, what all things you specifically require, I will go ahead and step by step show you. Please make sure that you follow this particular video till the end so that you will be able to do this specific deployment. Just to give you an idea what exactly we are doing. Right now, our code base, the entire code base is basically in our GitHub repository, right? Now we need to do the deployment in AWS, and specifically here we are going to use Elastic Beanstalk. Now what exactly Elastic Beanstalk is? It's just like a one kind of Linux machine, where you will be able to create the environment, where you'll be able to run the code, where you'll be able to run your application in short, okay? So we are going to deploy our code base entirely from here to Elastic Beanstalk. Now, before doing the deployment, there will be some configuration that will be required, right? Inside this, right? Now, some configuration we need to create in our code base repository, okay? So here you require some configuration, right? Now, configuration will be something related to the initial starting point and all, okay? We'll talk about that. Now, from this particular repository, okay, if I really want to do the deployment to this Elastic Beanstalk, so I should be able to create a mechanism from where we should be able to push the code, right? And this code will basically be pushed in the form of pipelines, okay? So this pipeline is just like a medium wherein I will be able to connect my GitHub repository to my deployment environment over here. And whenever I make any changes to this environment, I will be able to automatically deploy just by a click of button, okay? Automatically deploy just by a click of button, okay? So this pipeline will basically be created by using code pipelines, which is available in AWS, okay? So this code pipeline is just like a connecting medium between the GitHub repository to the Elastic Beanstalk, okay? Now let's go ahead and let's try to see how this deployment is done, okay? So first of all, as I said, some configuration is required in our code base repository. Now what are the specific configuration that is required? Here we will be creating one folder, okay? And this folder name will be .eb extension, okay? So .eb extensions, okay? So this is the folder structure that we really need to create, .eb extensions. Now inside this, I will be creating my one python.config file. See, whenever you are in that Linux, right, we will be selecting a Python environment. So for that, we require this specific config file. And in this config file, we will be able to just put this configuration. And this configuration is nothing but it is just written as AWS Elastic Beanstalk container Python. This is just like a container that we are giving in the form of Python. This is fixed. And over here, WSGI path from where my application is going to start. This application is nothing but indicating to my application.py file. And inside that, this application is basically getting called over here, right? So that is the reason why I have specifically written application over here, and I have renamed my the file name to application. And this is what the AWS Beanstalk will basically be looking at with respect to the configuration. So just consider this as one kind of configuration that we already need to do the setting with, okay? Now this is done. What we are going to do again, I'm just going to go to my terminal and quickly commit all this code. So here I will write git add dot, okay? And then probably I'll write git commit, and I will say -m, and I will say beanstalk configuration, okay? Configuration. Now I will just enter it. So here you can see what all changes I have done, 3 insertion with respect to 3 lines of code. And then I will write git push -u origin to main, okay? So once I write this, here you'll be able to see all the push will go. Now if I reload this page, so here you can see .eb extension, right? Again, let me see the name .eb extension, and inside this I have my python.config with all respect to all my configuration file. Application.py is over here, and we are ready to go. Okay. So now let's go to my AWS console, and here I will go ahead and select Elastic Beanstalk. Now in the Elastic Beanstalk, in the left hand side, go to the application and create a new application. So here I'm going to create a new application. I will go ahead and write the same thing. So I will write test forest fire. So this will be my application name, test forest fire. Okay. And by default, I will not select any keys as such. Okay. These keys need not be selected, and we can just go ahead and probably click on create tag, right? So yeah, I don't require this. Or let me do one thing. Okay, let me just go to the Beanstalk. From here we'll try to create it. Okay, so first of all we'll create the application over here, and now let's go ahead and write my application name, test forest fires. Don't select anything that is related to application tag. Now you need to select the platform. Now see, as soon as you select Python, this is giving you an Amazon Linux machine, right? And it has Python 3.8 running on it. Okay, so this is what is the environment that you're specifically having. Now if you go to the third part over here, you can either upload your code in the form of zip file, or you can first of all create a sample application and then probably connect it to your GitHub repository using the code pipelines. Okay, so as I said, this code pipeline, right now we are just setting up this. Okay, later on we'll set up this part. Okay, first we'll set up this, then we'll set up this. As I set up this is nothing but a Linux machine. We'll create an environment. Okay, so let me go ahead and create the application. So here my application will get created with a new environment name. Okay, it will start creating a new environment name, and now you can see that new environment is getting created. Now this is going to take some amount of time. Till then, I will just go ahead and open my AWS console. Now, once we open this AWS console, now I will go over here, and this pipeline we need to create, the code pipeline through which we will try to integrate with the GitHub repository. Okay, that is what we are going to do. And for this, I will go and search for code pipeline. Now see, what is this code pipeline? It is releasing software using continuous delivery. So if I say over here, with respect to my code over here, continuous delivery is happening to my machine where my code is basically running. Okay, so I will just go and click on this. Okay, then again here, the first thing is that just go to the code pipeline over here, and we will start creating our first pipeline. So to create the pipeline, I will just go ahead and write my same pipeline name. So I will say test forest fire pipeline. So I will say pipe. Okay, and then no need to select any advanced settings, new service role, just click on this and click on next. Now the source provider is super important. What source provider you are taking your GitHub repository, your code from? It can be Bitbucket, it can be S3, it can be Amazon ECR. Right now I'm going and selecting GitHub version 1. Right? So GitHub version 1 basically means from the GitHub repository, specifically this particular repository, I want to take up my code and then deploy it into my Elastic Beanstalk, right? Elastic Beanstalk. So for this, I need to connect to my GitHub. So I will go ahead and connect it. So it will ask me for the authentication request. I will go ahead and confirm it. Okay. Once I confirm it, I will go and search for my repository name. So it is nothing but test forest fires. I've selected it. The branch I need to select, that is main. And now this GitHub webhooks is it is just triggering that particular GitHub repository to my Beanstalk environment, right? So for that, I will go ahead and click on next. Now I don't have to build my code right now because I'm not doing any kind of integration. I'm just trying to deliver my entire code to the environment and to the application where I need to deploy it and run it, right? So I can skip this build stage, but later on when we see some of the projects, we'll also be using this. So I will go ahead and skip it. Now, if I go to the deploy provider, here you have multiple deploy provider, right? What deployment provider you want to use is nothing but AWS Elastic Beanstalk, right? Because here is where you really need to deploy your solution. You can use EC2 instance, and there are multiple other options. See, you have ECS, you have AWS, Amazon S3, but right now I'm going to use Beanstalk. Okay. Now let's go ahead and see whether my environment has got created or not. This is probably taking some amount of time. And now if I probably go and see on my environments and just execute this, here you will be able to see that test forest fire environment has got created, right? So this is what we are basically going to use. Now we are good with that. So what I'm going to do, go to my pipeline and search for my application name. So test forest fires is there with respect to my application name. The environment name will be test forest fires /env, which I had actually created. Now once I go ahead and click on next, so this is my entire setting. See the pipeline setting, this is the pipeline setting. Then this is my action provider from which source I'm getting my entire code. That is the GitHub, right? So from GitHub I'm getting it. So we have done this setup. See this entire setup, it knows from where I'm getting the particular code where I need to deploy, right? So that deployment part will be in the last stage, that is over here, right? And now, and this is getting deployed in the Elastic Beanstalk. Now what I will do, I will just go ahead and create my pipeline. So once I create the pipeline, it is going to take some amount of time, and this execution will happen. The pipeline will get created. It will probably take some amount of time. Now here you can see two main part. One is the source part, and then from that source, we are just going to deploy it in the AWS Elastic Beanstalk, right? So this process will be going on. It will probably take some amount of time. Now you can see that after some time this has got succeeded. So it is able to connect to the source. Now the deployment will take some amount of time because the code will get deployed. So we'll wait till that time till the deployment happens. Okay. So guys, now here you can see that my deployment has been done. Now green signal is given just like that. Let's open and see over here. So as soon as I open, okay, now if the health is okay, that basically means you have not got any error. If you are probably getting red color, then obviously you have got any error. So please make sure that you download my code repository and follow the same steps again. Now in order to see whether everything is working fine or not, I'll just click on this URL. Now here I'm going to get welcome to home page, right? Now let's go ahead and see with respect to my /predict _ data, predict data. So here you can see my this page is coming. I will just select some values. Let's say I go ahead and select 36. I am going to select some other values over here, rain this. Okay, it is up to you whatever values you select. And if I do the prediction here, you'll be able to see that I'm able to get the output, right? So quite good, quite amazing. We have done this with respect to the values that we are specifically getting. This is super amazing. We are able to do the predictions and all. This was all about the deployment part. I hope you like this particular video. Yes, this was it from my side. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Thank you and all. Take care. Bye-bye.